J Ponage. No, Cedrico. Cedric 0. Sid plays better than most people at double his age. I agree. He was actually a very good player. He was, when I heard I was fighting against a 14-year-old, I was like, I don't want to slaughter him too much. And then all of a sudden he's like, bam, smacks me across the face. I'm just like on the floor being like, stop. He played very well. He pwned my orcs. So good job, Sid. I was impressed. Future pro gamer. Galatan. Oh no, J Ponage. Or JG Ponage. Shooting through more than 2 inches of area terrain by the Grey Knights equals 4+ cover for the Orks. I suppose so. I just let him do it. He actually asked if I would get a cover save, and I was like, don't worry about it. But for future, I probably should give myself a cover save, especially when I'm losing. Good job pointing that out. Galatan. Splitting your forces like this and letting them get killed one after another is a beginner's mistake, Dan. Hope you learned something. It was Dawn of War, okay? Here was my tactics. I had all my shooting stuff coming on over the board over here, and I had my melee guys, my orc boys up here, up ahead. And I thought my orc boys would be able to kill his little henchman squads. They didn't look too powerful, because I've charged henchman squads before, with all the different assassins. I was able to kill them with just 12 boys, and I won combat, and it wasn't too terrible. But there wasn't all those extra, psychic powers, their strength and the charging to the difficult terrain, all that stuff. So all of that combined, use all of those, that's what really messed me up more than anything, just because I didn't know that was all that was capable of. So yeah, I probably should have kept a little more together, but now I know. Bucket. The autocannon dread has AP 4, so you shouldn't have been able to save the Ludas. Or then I missed something. Awesome bat rep though. Well, thanks. But he was shooting through trees, area terrain, so I got a cover save, not a regular save. So that's why I got my saves. I wasn't rolling t-shirt saves. Diap. Dan, this must be my poor losing side of me talking about your orcs. Were somewhat random. Were you trying to be nice? Were you not in the moment? I don't know, but it does not have the same feel of your Speed Freaks army. Why, oh why did you ran the weird boy by himself? Run Old Dogwort with 30 boys or 20. This is your best bet. Still a good game, by the way. Okay. So when I moved the shock attack gun on first turn, it's because I wanted them deployed, because I wanted them to shoot as much as possible, because I wanted those double sixes. I just wanted the extra turn of shooting. Didn't really do anything, but I just wanted the option, And so my weird boy had to come on later, but if he came on with the Ludas, he really couldn't do anything, and so he had to come on by himself, and then the boys charged off by themselves, which probably should have held back a bit. Now knowing how strong those henchman squads are, especially with a crazy wound allocation, that's just ridiculous. They need to change the rules on that. Hopefully next edition. Anyways, so the weird boy came on, and it was just, there's nothing to attach himself to. Unfortunately, he was kind of stuck out in the open because he needs to be with a boy squad. And the boy squad he was supposed to be with was over there. Way over there. So that's why he was alone. It was because of Dawn of War, not because I thought it would be a good idea. Silly Dawn of War. I think the game would have gone a lot different if it wasn't Dawn of War. In my favor. I'm not saying I would have won, but the Orks would have hit a lot harder, I think. Alex Burzy. I love MiniWarGaming, I love Warhammer, and I love all your videos. Well, thank you. That said, I think I'm going to stop watching whenever our Grey Knights are being played. I'm sorry to the players of Grey Knights, but the army is just too overpowered for me to enjoy a balanced game. No, Alex, no. Not a good way to think of it, okay? Because if you think Grey Knights are overpowered, every single time you face them, you have in your mind that they're overpowered. And if you win, it's when you win because of luck or because the other person sucked, not because you're talented. And if you lose, well, of course, you just like, oh, well, I lost because they're overpowered, right? But that's just a terrible way to think. Now, they are very powerful in a lot of ways, and they're very easy to play. They're a very forgiving army. You just kind of play them, and it just works for you. Another army that is quite powerful is, say, the Dark Eldar. But most people playing Dark Eldar just lose tons of games because they're really hard to play. But they're good, and they can do well, like Tau. Tau has a very limited number of choices that they can use to be effective, but they can still be very effective, and they can be really damaging. But in the hands of the wrong player, they'll just get slaughtered. And so with Grey Knights, the way I'm looking at it, okay, they slaughtered me twice. I lost very decisively 2 games against Grey Knights, and that's the only games I've played against the Grey Knights. But, like I was said before, it's mostly out of ignorance and out of just not knowing the capability of their armies. And so when I have a squad of 20 boys, I'm like, okay, well, I'll charge and they'll hit each other. That's usually what happens with boys. They just hit and they'll kill most of the stuff and they'll hit back, but I'll be doing great. But then I just lost terribly. And I was like, oh. And then my other squad was too close and it got charged before I could even run away at all. And then it was too, once I figured that out, it was much too late for me to come back from. And then all my Ludas just in crazy cover saves and just ridiculous, and like Power Claw goes in attacking the other. It just, everything as well. It's just like bad luck compounded that game. I don't know, both. I know it's bad to say, like I don't want to fall back on, oh, I just was unlucky. I'm just unlucky. But both those Grey Knight games were quite unlucky for me. You could talk to both players, both Sid and Dan, that I played against, and they will both agree wholeheartedly, not that I should have won the game, but that the game favored their dice rolls more than it did mine. It's just in some way or another, just in general, the dice favored the Grey Knight player. They just like a 6+ cover save. It's like, this thing is going to explode, and I don't have to deal with it. And he rolls a 6+ cover save because it's like barely in the range. And it's just like, and then it shoots no problem and kills my looted wagon, which should have been still alive then, to be able to shell out tons more shots. And imagine that being alive the rest of the turn, or being able to stun his dreadnoughts. And it's just, what should have happened in my mind tactfully was like maybe like an 80% chance of happening, and it didn't. And then his return volley, like, I think Orks can still outshoot Grey Knights. I really do. It's just if the luck just has to be a little more even during the beginning points of the game, because Grey Knights, they're so reliable. Like, when you shoot, like, you just shoot and then you get to re-roll, and you're hitting on like 2s or 3s anyways. And so it's like almost guaranteed all your shots hit. And then when you're at such a high strength, you can do so much damage. And so Grey Knights, it's not so much overpowered because their units cost a lot, but the bit of the randomness is taken out of the game, and Grey Knights are so consistently up there, high. You can just rely. It's like, okay, I want that to die. I can almost guarantee it. If I shoot at that, that's going to die. While other armies is like, okay, a 60 to 80% chance. Well, they have like a 95% chance. And so that's why people think Grey Knights are so overpowered, because they just kind of set their eyes on something and kill it, set their eyes on something and kill it, or everyone else is a bit more random. But you get more guys, you have more units to work with the other. So you just have to hit them hard when you need to. Again, just a little bit of bad luck, I think, in those games. But I did bring more of a fun army. I brought a Weird Boy. You can watch my Tactica that I just put out. And Weird Boys are for fun, not for winning games. And the Shock Attack Gun, they can do a lot of damage, but more for fun than winning games. Not that I wasn't trying to win, but I like to have more even games and more fun games. Just turned out that Sid slaughtered me. But I was going for more of a fun, entertaining game for you guys, so hopefully that came across, and not all you're thinking of is how stinking overpowered these Grey Knights are and how bitter you are at them, because that's not the right attitude, I don't think. A few more comments. Spaghetti. Double crater across the board has to become a new video. Double crater across the board. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey, I had a weak moment. I had to sing it. Let's just leave it at that. Sark. Are the monkeys a legitimate model? No. Well, yeah. Well, it explains in the Reddit that they're like ape-like creatures, that they're kind of like that. So they kind of fit, actually. But no, I don't think Games Workshop has a model for them. And so that was just Sid being awesome in his modeling and conversions. But no, I don't think that's a Games Workshop model. No, 100% no. But anyways, thanks for all the comments again. Hope you enjoy watching, even if it's more Grey Knights. Although, I think Matt just played an interesting game against Grey Knights. Maybe you should check that out with his Tyranids. He did quite well. And I will beat Grey Knights. I will. With my Orks and not Green Tide. Because I know I can beat him with Green Tide. What's the fun of bringing that if I know I can bring it? They're kind of boring to play. I will beat them without playing Green Tide. So stay tuned. I'll figure it out. I will. And it won't because they're a crappy player. It will because of awesome tactics. Yeah. Okay. Well, happy wargaming and stuff.